Evening to everybody. I am Cynthia Lofton, and I'm here to welcome you all to the forum this evening. You know, I learned that as a young child the value of voting. I had a grandfather who was born in 1900. When he got the right to vote, he told his wife, who was also a landowner like him, and she did not have the right to vote, that if you got, when he went to go register to vote, that if you got killed, how to take care of herself and the other and their children and the farm. So I learned from my grandfather that it was worth risking your life to vote. And then as a young child growing up in Atlanta, in the 60s, whenever we voted, it was like a national holiday. They'd have television cameras out, and everybody bought all the kids. And they'd sell peanuts and hot chocolate. So I learned from my father and my mother that voting was a family affair. And if you want your children to learn the value of voting, you have to bring them with you. So I welcome you to the Candidates Forum tonight for the city of Stonecrest. And I hope these candidates, they will inspire you enough to get out and vote. And also, it's not just your vote that's important. It's also the neighbors and it is any family members that might live within the voting area. So with that, I'll just say vote.
Or my favorite way to greet my neighbors, hey neighbors. So we're happy to be here this evening. We're going to get this show on the road because we want to make sure that each candidate has ample time to answer your questions. But with that being said, we will not be able to accept questions from the audience tonight. That's based off of time constraints. We have to be out of the library by 7:55. So we want to make sure that we make that and we meet those marks. So unfortunately, we will not be able to do that, but every candidate has information with them today. You can connect and reach out to them directly and ask them any questions that you may have. In addition, they will each be able to make an opening statement. They will have 1 minute to do so, and each question will be a time limit of either 2 minutes or 3 minutes, and we have a timekeeper up front to make sure that everyone abides within those guidelines. I will make sure that each candidate please make eye contact with the timekeeper so you know when to begin, and she will give you a 30-second reminder for when it's almost time to wrap up on your question as well as your opening and closing statements. So with that being said, we'll go ahead and call out the names of all the candidates that are present and who are absent. So for mayoral, we have Dr. Diana Jones, Mayor Jasmine Caldwell, who is the incumbent, Mr. Kirby Frazier, Ms. Dele Loman, and Mr. Bernard Smith. For Councilman District 2, we have Ms. Belinda Hall, Mr. Terry Fye, a little fanfare, and Mr. Rod Turner. And for Council District 4, we have Mr. George Turner and Mrs. Malaika. Thank you all very much. So there are a total of 6 questions this evening. I hope you all feel confident and prepared and ready to give people what they need, right? Okay. So let's start with each of your opening statements, and we will start with Dr. Diane Adoma.
Thank you. Good evening, Stonecrest. I'm Dr. Diane Daniels Adoma, and I want to thank the South DeKalb Recruitment Association for hosting this event. I'm offering myself to be your next mayor to make our lives better. Have your life improved over the last 6 years? One of the things that I hear so often is that we need accountability. We need transparency. We certainly need ethics, and we need a mayor with integrity. My 30-plus years of business experience includes writing and implementing economic development plans for municipalities across the nation. Those cities that I have worked with, they have grown. They have the right type of growth that you've been asking for 6 years. As your next mayor, you're going to do more than survive on my watch. Everybody will have a seat at the table, not a folding seat. You're going to have a permanent chair. I'm going to engage everyone in whatever solutions that we need to arrive at to make our lives better. We deserve a city of excellence, and that's exactly what I'm going to deliver, but I'm not going to try to deliver anything without engaging you. Thank you again for the opportunity tonight to tell you more about me and more about what I plan to do as your next mayor. Thank you.
I'm just going to stand here for the sake of time. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kirby Frazier, and I'm Chief Officer Mayor for the City of Stonecrest. Some of you guys probably wonder why I decided to make this attempt one more time. Here's the thing. I got an opportunity to talk to people. And the things I talk about on my platform is simple. We talk about things that's going on with the veterans. We talk about things going on in Stonecrest with affordable housing, economic development. We're talking about why can't we establish some type of accountability, some kind of issue of trust in the city. You know, we can do anything. We put things in place. Accountability is the responsibility. That's something that leaders cannot delegate. So I'm here, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to put some of this military experience to work and try to serve you. Thank you.
Good evening, Stonecrest. Good evening, Stonecrest. My name is Daylay Loman, and I am running to be your next mayor of the city of Stonecrest in order to bring experience, passion, and progress to our community. Many of you probably know, and perhaps some of you may not realize, the tipping point that we are at as a community. We have a hugely important decision to make in this next election that will shape the future of the city of Stonecrest, and frankly, whether we have a future as a city. My 20 years of city and county government experience make me the most qualified and knowledgeable candidate in this race. And with the challenges that we have come through and will face going forward, it is time that we have professional, tested leadership in the mayor's seat, because we are running out of runway and we do not have much time to recover. I look forward to sharing what the rest of my vision and platform is tonight. Thank you.
Good evening, Stonecrest. My name is Bernard Smith. I want to share Stonecrest out of District 4. I've been here for about 25 years, and I'm the only candidate up here who will give you a clear vision of what this city is supposed to be like. And I've been here, the city for 6 years, it's been on the downward for 6 years. We had very, very high crime rates. Our schools are pitiful, and I just plan to change all of it around. I'm the only candidate up here that will give you a concise plan of what I plan to do with our schools. I have something called the Challenge Program that will change all of our test scores, all of our parental involvement, as well as all of our children's behavior around in our schools differently. I plan on making this city a stellar city, a model city for other cities to follow. Cities like Raleigh, Durham, they're willing to see what I do here in Stonecrest so that they can emulate and use the blueprint that I built here to make their cities better. I plan on time, brother. Thank you. I look forward to you guys getting to know me better.
I am Belinda Hall, and I am running for Stonecrest City Council District 2. I am running for City Council to restore what has been lost. I want to put us back on the road to becoming a world-class city. I believe our young city is at a tipping point. We have a lot at stake. My guiding principle is to listen. We have to listen to all of the citizens and together, and we listen to one another, we can come up with a solution. So my job is to listen to everybody and take it back to the council, and I will keep you updated on everything. My main thing is I want to have a database with everybody's contact information so I can hear your concerns and I can keep you updated on what's going on. But I feel like we're just not listening to one another. And the answer is among you guys. And if we do all these, okay, thank you.
Well, thank you all for being here. Thank you all to the citizens who dedicated time on a Monday evening to be out here. My name is Terry Fly. I am a candidate for Stonecrest City Council District 2. And I'm here to tell you that I'm not Stonecrest born, but I am Stonecrest raised. I've called this city home since I was 13 years old, and I'm an alumni of Miller Grove High School. And throughout my collegiate and political career, I have fought to make sure that we have transparent and accountable government. I'm fighting in this race to make sure that we restore faith in Stonecrest, so that we were able to reevaluate and bring citizens back into the table and reinvest them after their trust has been broken. I want to make sure that we're fighting to make sure that we're a safe city, that we're an engaged city, and that we are most involved in community and built city. So thank you all so much. I can't wait to tell you guys a little bit more about my platform.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Malaika Wells, and I'm running for the Stonecrest City Council District 4 seat because we deserve a fresh start. My vision is to see District 4 become the cleanest, safest, and most welcoming district in Stonecrest. Our city has a problem with citizen communication and participation, and I intend to be a part of the solution. I will give voice to my community's desires through intentional and proactive citizen engagement and partnering with District 4 businesses and landowners to spur and support economic development, and collaborating with county, state, and federal partners to align interests, advance infrastructure, and build a thriving community. There is more in store for District 4, and I'm eager to show you.
We will give everyone the opportunity to be the first to answer a question. So since Dr. Adoma was first with her opening statement, this first question, we will lead it off with Mr. Kirby Frazier. And let's just go ahead and get started. And I think I may have done you guys a disservice. My name is Angel Forte. I am your neighbor. I live in District 5, parts of Stonecrest, 8 neighbors. Right? And so I also want to let you guys know that it's an honor to be here to support you in this capacity, as well as if you are looking for information on a weekly basis, you can follow us at the Stonecrest Podcast. All right. So with that being said, question number 1, Mr. Frazier. Please provide a concise description of your guiding principle for offering leadership to the city of Stonecrest. You have 2 minutes to answer this question.
Yes, good evening. My guiding principle. On my campaign, ladies and gentlemen, I said restore trust. Let me tell you why I said that. That's part of the guiding principle. Any great leader knows that you must have the trust of the people. If you don't have trust of the people, they won't follow you. But here's the thing. You got to start putting things in place so people feel comfortable that you are doing the right thing. You put some things out there so you can go online and look at these things. Just start having some, what you call town hall meetings, and asking people to show up. Now, sometimes people can't show up. Maybe, just maybe, we need to have events to bring them there, like we're doing right now. So you can have the freedom to ask the question that you want to ask and get the answers that you want. That's the way you do things. Talk to people. Again, talk to people. Every good leader knows you must talk to people. You can put controls in place, you can put processes in place, but if you don't have the people involved, what are you going to do? You can't just sit here and just look out and say, hey, we'll lead and they'll follow. That's not how it works. You got to show some type of enthusiasm, some motivation. Give them a plan, a clear plan, where they can follow a roadmap, if you may. That roadmap will lie blazing on the road to show them where we're going. We're talking about economic development. What is that? That's real simple. We're trying to grow the city so we can be prosperous. Okay? We have a lot of poverty in Stonecrest. We ride by it every day. We see homeless people out there walking the street. We wonder why they're out there. Anybody ever took the time to talk with them? We are part of those situations too. We have to look at all of that. Now, again, I want to leave you stay ready. You have to get ready. If you stay ready, you'll have to get ready. But please join me in help restore trust to the city. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. Any following candidate, if you would like the question restated, please let me know. All right, are you good, Taylor?
Yes.
Thank you.
Is it on here?
You're good.
Okay, thank you. It's low?
You're very
All right.
low.
I'll raise my voice then. Thank you. So it's challenging to sum up my guiding principles in one, as there are several that inform my candidacy and my leadership. But I would, for the purposes of this question, sum it up in this way. Let everything be done decently and in order. That is 1 Corinthians 14 and 40. To me, decently and in order encompasses transparency, ethics, professionalism and propriety, and having a high regard for citizens, for the employees of our city, as well as for our stakeholders and partners in the community. I mentioned in my opening my 20 years of city and county government experience. The first 5 years of that, I spent under the tutelage and mentorship of the chief executive and deputy chief executive of the second largest county in Florida. That is Broward County. If you've ever flown through Fort Lauderdale Hollywood International Airport, we ran that airport, we ran the seaport. We had 1.7 million residents, 7,000 employees, and a $2.5 billion budget. I was mentored by those leaders and groomed to lead complex local governments. I had the opportunity throughout my career to work alongside some of the most respected leaders in the local government profession. And because of that, I understand what a well-run and stable government looks like and how to create that. And that is the requirement for everything else that we hope for and are looking forward to for the city of Stonecrest. I look forward to being able to offer you that and earn your vote. Thank you.
Description of the guiding principle for offering leadership in the city of Stonecrest. My first thing that I bring back faith. I bring back faith and integrity. That's what I said. Is that better? Can you hear me? The first thing I do is bring back faith and integrity in our city. That's something that's been lacking the past 6 years. Integrity. Candidates get up here and they make promises that have no intention of doing. Everything that I promise you and everything that I say is what I intend on doing from day one. I'm up here, I'm not coming to you guys as a politician. I'm going to come to you guys as a leader of the church, leader of the community. That's what I've been doing with the Wiseman Group, political organization, for churches, for Christians, for the past 7 years. I plan on bringing that expertise to the city of Stonecrest to make this a model city for other cities to emulate. Now, what I'm going to promise you that I'll do is I'll tackle the crime here in the city. I'll tackle the education here in the city. And I'll tackle our economic development. Our economic development is critical. We've had the land in front of Stonecrest Mall vacant for the past 15, 20 years. I plan on doing something with that. I plan on doing something with that from day one. I've already had the economic developers who are willing to invest in the land, who've already bought the land, and are willing to build on that land from day one. I plan on changing our schools around. I have something called the Challenge Program. It was brought to me 7 years ago by Jasper Williams, a local pastor. He put this program together on the national level. Well, it didn't quite make it to the national level, but I am planning on instilling it here on the local level for all of our schools. I plan on doing something about the alcoholism and the drug addiction that we have here in our city that nobody talks about. I plan on doing that by implementing a tax on all of our local
Time, Mr. Smith. Thank you so much. All right, for the audience's sake, I will restate the question before we move on to city council candidates. So please provide a concise description of your guiding principle for offering leadership in the city of Stonecrest. 2 minutes.
Okay. Okay, what I would like to do, like I said, the most important thing is something that sounds so simple, is to listen. And so we've got to start having, I would do town hall meetings virtually or in person so I can hear everybody's concern. I am a businesswoman and I have the experience like no other person. I can't even go into the experience that I do have, but I can bring a lot to Stonecrest. And I would like to be your council person. And I would like to restore faith in Stonecrest because Stonecrest has lost its, people just don't respect us when we say we're from Stonecrest because of all the stuff that's going on. I want to restore faith in Stonecrest, and I want us to have transparency. So everything that we'll be voting on, it needs to be brought to the citizens so they can voice their opinion. So, just because you're sitting on the council, it's just not about you making all the decisions for all the citizens. We have to do it as a team. That's the only way we can bring Stonecrest back. And we have to invest in the seniors. We have to work with we have to inspire the youth. We have to let the youth know that we hear them. And we have to really take care of our seniors. And we have to really get involved with economic development. Because economic development, we have to have that, we can't survive as a city. That is the backbone of any city, economic development. Thank you.
So my guiding principles comes in actually very similar to the reason why I'm not staying. I've been walking home because primarily one of the things that one of our missions that we wanted to do in this campaign was fight to restore and reinvest our citizens in the state of affairs in Stonecrest. So I agree 110% with Ms. Hall that we need to fight to restore faith in Stonecrest. And so one of the reasons why we got into this race was because we wanted to make sure that we were investing and working on a grassroots, boots on the ground level with talking to our constituents. We made that a big part of our campaign. We said very early on, we do not want to invest into signs in this campaign. We want to invest into the doors and the citizens themselves. So that's why we said multiple times that we're not going to just show up at your door 2 weeks before early voting starts. We're going to show up, we're going to have a conversation with you all the way in late August. We're going to find out and build our campaign based on what you want and what you need. So what's my guiding principle? It is making sure that we are a street level council.
My guiding principle for leadership in District 4 is to provide accessible, proactive, and responsive leadership. I have a strong vision for our district, and I want to see, like I shared before, District 4 become the cleanest, safest, and most welcoming district in Stonecrest. I'm a strategic thinker, and I communicate consistently and effectively. My objective is to inspire, motivate, and guide constituents towards achieving common goals. I will provide opportunities for constituents to voice their issues, needs, concerns, and opinions. We will then work together to envision and create a pathway to success. In a listening session that I recently hosted in July, District 4 residents came out and said that they wanted to live in a clean, safe, and thriving community, which is why that's my vision, right? If elected, my goal will be to identify and obtain the partners and resources to make that happen.
Woman will be the candidate who answers question number 2 first. No, my bad. I just wanted you to have a good time. Get extra rest.
Okay. My guiding principle is integrity. Integrity is doing the right thing when no one else is looking. And God knows our city needs that. Second, transparency. Now, I've already shown you who I'm going to be but I'm under pressure. I'm the only candidate up here with legislative and business experience. 30-plus solid years of running franchises worth $14 million that are still standing today. My current business, which is right here in Stonecrest, is a very profitable business. So I know how to run a business. I know how to run this city. Second, let's talk a bit about transparency, if I may. Transparency, you haven't had it. You haven't seen it because we haven't gotten it in this city. Let me give an example. How many of you know we gave $1.5 million to the Board of Education? Now, I am an advocate for education. I went from a GED to a PhD, so I support education. But another way to spend that money, another way we could have spent that money, we could have given them something, but they got $313 million of their own money. We got 9.7. You do the math. We gave them almost 10%. Transparency is, do you know where that money is? Now, I'm getting a little passionate now, but do you know? Then we gave $500,000 to Piedmont College. Again, I went from GED to PhD. Would have gave them something for truck drivers, I think. But now let me tell you how many sidewalks and street lights we could have put in for that. But lastly, I'm going to really make you mad now. I'm not going to take $500,000 of your tax dollars to support me in security. I'm going to take that money. Street lights is $1,350. For $500,000, we're going to get 313 street lights. That's the kind of mayor I'm going to be for you. I've already shown you that I will fight for you. I have served on that council. I have been transparent. I've been accountable. And I know you know I've got ethics. So as your next mayor, we're going to continue and pick up where I left off to give you the life that you deserve. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Doma. Last but not forgotten. All right, so this question, we will have Ms. Loman answer. Beginning with the first election, and since, the city of Stonecrest has had a lower turnout, below 20% in each election. A major sign of low citizen engagement and interest in the city. The question is, if elected, what would you do to increase citizen interest and participation in the affairs of the city?
Thank you for the question. And voting rights, as people who know me, voting rights and civic participation has been a major focus of my leadership in this community long before it ever crossed my mind to run for office. It is why I am excited to share publicly for the first time that I have been endorsed by Fair Fight Action because of my commitment to and impact on voter access and preserving democracy in our community. And that will not change as your mayor. And I just forgot the rest of the vote.
If you are elected, what would you do to increase citizens' interest and participation in affairs of the city?
Thank you. So the issue of low voter participation in Stonecrest, I believe, is based on two major principles, one of which is how we originated as a city. And I'm going to use one of my $5 words, balkanization. The way that we came into existence was balkanizing existing communities and creating a new community. So communities that identified as Lithonia or as Decatur or just as South DeKalb, in some cases as unincorporated Conyers, were cobbled together into a community called Stonecrest that did not previously exist. We are not like South Fulton or Mableton, who were already intact communities, and when they voted to become a city, they just formalized what they were already doing. There were not people who identified as Stonecrest citizens before we became a city. And so we don't have any cohesion. We never had the opportunity to create shared history. We don't have shared values or a vision. And it takes leadership to create those things. We are not just building a city from scratch. We are building a whole community from the ground up because of the way that we were created. And that is why people do not feel the need to vote, because they don't feel any ownership of the city. I think the second part of that is that there is a disconnect between the voter and their quality of life. They do not see any relationship between the ballot that they cast or don't and the outcomes that they experience on a day-to-day basis because they are excluded from the policy-making and decision-making process. I will ensure that our citizens get to participate, have a seat at the table, and shape our policy so that when they see what kind of impact that has on their quality of life, you won't be able to stop them from voting, and they will bring their neighbors along with them. Thank you.
And just a friendly reminder, 3 minutes for this question versus the 2 minutes of the previous.
Can you repeat that question?
Absolutely. If you are elected, what would you do to increase citizens' interest and participation in the affairs of the city? You have 3 minutes.
I totally agree with what you said about the city.
Mr. Smith, we'll start you over if you could hold the mic right here. You have a very low timbre.
I got you.
Thank you.
I totally agree with what Daley said about our city and the engagement of the citizens here. Not very many people know that we are a city, who live in the city. So they don't hold us accountable. They still think we're part of Lithonia. It took the news crews 3 months. It's only been 3 months since they've been calling us Stonecrest. They've been blaming all that news on Lithonia. You asked the mayor and even Jason Larry, who was mayor, what they thought about that. They said, great, I'm glad they're still blaming it on Lithonia because nobody knows it's in Stonecrest. People here don't even know that they live in Stonecrest. I go and I talk to people in grocery stores and in Walmart. They say, I live in Lithonia, I don't live in Stonecrest. No, you live in Stonecrest. You open on the road, it's Stonecrest. Lithonia is just that little small town now. The little downtown Lithonia, that's Lithonia. The rest of us are all Stonecrest, so people don't have the engagement with them. We need to have town hall meetings. We need to get back to having town hall meetings. It's something we've never done. Lithonia did that back in Lithonia. Stonecrest has never done that. I think that each of our districts should have town hall meetings. I think that we should have to have people engaged. We should start doing mailers. I used to own a business called Bargain Hunters, and it was a small advertiser that would go out to all the members of Stonecrest. Every member, whether you stay in an apartment complex or a house, you got it in the mail. We need to have a newsletter, a quarterly newsletter, that goes out to every citizen to keep them engaged and let them know what's going on in our city. Now, it doesn't cost much, but if we can afford to give money to these board education and to these colleges, we can afford to do something like this. It's very feasible, but we have to implement that. We have to hold us accountable for getting the information out there to the people. Now, I think we need to have civil engagements with our local communities, places like the YMCA, and even our own. We have what's it called, the community place on Brownsville Road. Yeah. We need to have places like that engaged. We need to promote these places so that people know where our kids can go to play after school or for recreation. They don't even know that. They don't even know we have a YMCA here in Stonecrest. We have 2 golf courses here in Stonecrest that I just found out about. I take my kids golfing in countries all the time. I had no idea we had 2 golf courses here in Stonecrest. But these are the things that we need to do in this newsletter. We need to promote our businesses. All of our small local businesses need to be promoted there. So we can advertise for them. So we can showcase what Stonecrest is about instead of just everybody knowing about Little Black Wall Street. Thank you.
Ms. Hall, the question. If you are elected, what would you do to increase citizens' interest and participation in the affairs of the city? You have 3 minutes.
Well, I feel like for it's like people coming out to vote, it's a disconnect between the city and the citizens. They feel like if they come out and vote, it doesn't matter, it doesn't make any difference. So until we can have some type of database or newsletter, actual database, because if I am your next council person, everybody will know I'm your council person. So I will keep you updated on all of the important things. So unless the citizens feel connected and feel like what they have to say matters, they just give up. They don't even want, they just say, heck with the city. So in order to get people out there, we have to stay connected. We have to listen to one another. We have to know everyone needs to be on the same page. So until we can get connected and let everybody feel important, it will always be that way. Thank you.
So I'm actually going to talk a little bit about what we have to do with student government, which is kind of weird because imagine trying to get a bunch of students who are more concerned about a collegiate career to get to vote in student government, to actually vote in a student government election. So again, like in a lot of different places, we see that low voter turnout in a lot of local issues is actually a common thing. It's something that you see everywhere. And rather than talk about what I'm going to do, I want to talk to you guys about what we've already done in this campaign. So as we started early on, we made over 2,500 contacts as of today with District 2 citizens, at the door, over the phone, and over text. We wanted to reach out to them, and we asked them just 3 simple questions. What's your #1 focus for 2024? What do you care? Have you ever met with yourself? Have you ever met our current city councilman? And can we count on you to vote for the SPLOST referendum? Not for our election, but for the SPLOST referendum. People were responsive and let us know overwhelmingly that yes, they were still interested in seeing a great city. They were still interested in seeing where things went. But there was an overall disconnect, like many of the candidates said, over who their councilman was. And as we saw, 80.4% of those residents who were talked to and who we talked to at the door remarked that they had never even met their current city councilman. No one had met them. They couldn't even say it. Even some of the people who knew about our current city councilman couldn't even remark his name. And so, again, this is not a dig because every single one of these people voted for him in 2019. So again, it's about showing that constant. Lord, my mom says it's a word my dad constantly drills in me. It's it. He says it in every lecture. Hold on. It's consistency. Consistency. Don't laugh, because I'm going to hear that later today. It's consistency outside of an election year, showing up at the door. So as one of the first candidates to actually put out a proposal on how we're going to reach out to people, we said all along, we were going to go ahead and bring back our town halls because we used to have them, and we're bringing them back. We're going to start that newsletter, get people involved after we hit them at the door, and bring them back involved in our community. And we're going to continuously build up that door-to-door, boots-on-the-ground aspect outside of this year. And if I have enough time, oh, thank God. I want to say this. I respect Ms. Hall for being here. Ms. Hall did not have to be here. She has a busy schedule. She could have hit doors and she could have been with District 2 residents, but she chose to be here to answer your questions. Same as I. Showing up is half the job. Showing up is half the job.
I totally understand how you feel as well. Like,
No more.
switch seats, all right. So, would you like me to restate the question? I got a question.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. So, the question is, what will I do to increase citizen interest and participation in the affairs of the city? And like you've already heard from many candidates here, there's a lot of work to do. So last month I participated in a civic collaboratory in Seattle, Washington, whose goal is to galvanize civic participation through cultivating a culture of powerful, responsible citizenship. You probably can't see it, but I was pinned there because now I'm a fellow of that organization. I have my little pin here, Citizen University. So I added lots of tools to my toolkit. And I also broadened my network of resources and people that I can pull on, right, and ask and collaborate with and partner with, and who can suggest to me other people to meet the needs of my community. I wish you could see this picture on my phone. Here's one of the things that we could do. So when I was riding the light rail, yes, they have a light rail in Seattle. So I was riding the light rail in Seattle, and there was a poster there. It says, "Your voice has the power to change the community. Vote now." How many of you have ever seen a voting sign put up
prior to or at the beginning of voting season by the city of Stonecrest, encouraging its citizens to vote. That's one way we can increase civic participation in our city, right? How many of you have ever gone into a city and you've seen the little signs during the holiday seasons where they, have the lights and they have the banners and all of that kind of stuff? Imagine seeing that throughout the districts in the city of Stonecrest, where you see banners encouraging people to vote. Imagine the city working with the Stonecrest Chamber of Commerce and other organizations and small businesses to ask them to include in their businesses information on voting. It's time to vote, Stonecrest, right? That's some of the things that we can do. But as a fellow of Citizen University, one thing I'm going to do to increase citizen interest and participation is, like you've heard, consistent in-person, virtual, postal, and digital communication for District 4 residents. Constituents will receive invitations to join me for chat and choose, town halls, public meetings, public hearings, etc. It's my plan to partner with the executive branch of the city, other council members, and community partners to design gatherings that spark a powerful sense of citizenship and belonging for Stonecrest residents. I'm going to publish a newsletter to share the good news that's happening in D4, as well as with work session updates to invite public input in preparation for Fourth Monday meetings. There's no way I should go into Fourth Monday meetings getting ready to vote, and I don't know what District 4 residents want. So I intend to initiate a direct mail campaign to every address in District 4 to ensure that residents know where they live and that they live within the city.
Will be next.
I've learned that people don't care what you can do if you don't respect them. Oftentimes at our council meeting, I listen to the public comment, and I watch the leadership ignore them or outright walk off the desk. Now that is unacceptable. As your next mayor, I would never do that. Never. And I think, how are you going to bring people together and tell them to go vote and you're not respecting them? So I'm going to respect everybody. And what does that mean? I don't have to agree with you. I run a business now. I had an employee today, we had a disagreement, we worked it out, and everything was okie dokie afterwards. But it's okay to have a difference of an opinion. Also, all the town halls, all of the, I think I'm the only council member who fed the policemen on Christmas Day. Took my whole family, my grandbabies, my children. We went over there on Christmas Day, and I'm not talking about a canned meal. I'm talking about a real meal. If you want to know what I've done already, just go to my website for that. But what I want to talk to you about now is branding. I have a project also in Sandy Springs, you guys. I drive up there, and when I look at the signs and the waterfalls and the streets are squeaky clean, I come back home and I say, we can have that. We don't have it because we haven't selected the right leader. You've had 2 tries at this. Now it's time to get somebody who's going to deliver. That's what this race is about. Branding. We don't even have a street sign. When you get off of I-20 at Panola Road, you should see a waterfall, well-landscaped, a street sign that says, welcome home to Stonecrest. 6 years. 6. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I'm getting younger, and that's too long. So we have to find a way. You cannot bring the community together with nothing other than first respecting the differences of opinion. What else I'm going to do? I'm going to listen to everybody. I don't care your religion, your race, your nationality, your job, your socioeconomic position. I don't care who you are. Can you help me solve Stonecrest problems? If the answer is yes, then I'm bringing you to the table. We're not doing that. We're running the city on friendship, likability, all the things that what? You tell me what we've got in 6 years. And if you can tell me that you're happy, if somebody raised their hand and tell me that you're happy, you're a different type of person. Because I'm telling you now, in order for us to get what we want, I've graduated from the Georgia Department of Economic Development Academy, which means I worked on real projects that went over to Covington, they went to Rockdale, they went to Gwinnett, they went everywhere from the state. You know why? We don't have no one representing us down at the congressman office. We're the only city out of, there are 13 cities in DeKalb County. We're the only one who didn't go to Congressman Johnson to get the free money. Every other city got it. Thank you. I'm sorry.
If you are elected, what would you do to increase citizen interest and participation in the affairs of the city? You have 3 minutes, Mr. Bridgewater.
3 minutes is a long time for me. But give you guys a round of applause. You see the passion? You can hear that these guys want to be leaders. They are leaders. But I'm here to tell you, this is what I learned in the military. People will follow you if you're a good leader. Let me say that again. People will follow you if you're a good leader. Not because we come up there and look for it and handsome and all that good stuff. Come on with one soldier. I've never get in dirt with you and make it happen. Here's the thing. You gotta have a plan, ladies and gentlemen. Why do people not come and vote in these elections? Don't. You ever ask yourself that tough question and really answer it for yourself? At least make the attempt. I've asked that question for a long time. I've asked people why they were covered. Why don't we vote in Stonecrest? We have almost 60,000 people here. Maybe 40 to 50,000 registered to vote. And as I go around this big blue marble Stonecrest, I ask that same question. I hear a lot of different things. Ladies and gentlemen, those are just symptoms of the real problem. Okay? We need leadership. We need strong leadership. I'm not talking about a dictator. I'm talking about a leader who understands how to listen to people. I'm talking about getting out there and having these town hall meetings. Sometimes you have to have a town hall meeting in the street. If you want to test your leadership, go out on the street, talk face to face, and you'll be amazed what you hear. You'll hear right there where the road meets the road. We can talk about all the issues in Stonecrest. Stonecrest's been around for a couple of years. We have some bumps in the road. What are we going to do now? We're going to keep lying about it, or are we going to do something about it? Let's time to roll these sleeves up and get out there, and let's put some things in place to make sure we set success. Now, everybody will tell you, if you don't control your process will control you. If we really have a process right now, we have a shell for the process. You got to ask yourself that question, and ask yourself that question honest. Are you happy with that shell? This is why you see these people here today. Now, why am I here? Okay, I'm sympathetic, but I'm hard-nosed too. People in the military will tell you that. I'll give you the answer that you don't want to listen to. I'll tell you what you need to hear. But after that, I'll be listening to what your responses are too. I won't be talking about symptoms of the problem. We'll talk about the real problem. What is the actual root of this problem here? Now, as we go through a systematic process, let's come up with some solutions. Let's come up with the people. I can brainstorm all day long, but I'm going to need your help. Town hall meetings are great, but we need to bring people to town hall meetings. Let's sit down and talk about things. And come in. When we leave there, let's leave some real solutions. Okay? That's all I have to say.
All right, awesome. Thank you so much. So, because it's difficult to hear our candidates, if we could please make sure our phones are silenced and we refrain from sidebar conversations because it is proving difficult to hear them with the system that we have. So if you could do that, I appreciate it kindly. Also, some of the questions that you previously prepared to have 3 minutes for will be shortened to 2 because of time constraints. So I do apologize that we have to kind of shorten, but I'm sure you guys are all experts in being concise. So, getting started. A key citizen interest in the city, as expressed in many social media posts and comments, has been the makeup and quality of our retail, restaurant, and businesses in the city. So the question, how would you rate your level of expertise in economic development? I think we have a ringer here, almost everyone said it. And what, in your opinion, are the key steps to this, that the city should take? And what specific actions would you take to address both the fundamental economic development challenges facing the city, such as job creation, diversification of industries, and business sectors? I know that was a long question, so I will happily repeat. 2 minutes, starting with Mr. Bernard.
I'm going to jump right into this. 3 things that I plan on doing in this city when I'm elected mayor. Now, we did a survey about 6 months ago on why people in Stonecrest do not like shopping and spending their money in the Stonecrest restaurants and in our stores. Why they would rather travel to Atlanta or Alpharetta or Congress to spend their money. And the main reason was because of our customer service. So on day one, I've already talked with different companies to come in and start what's called a Customer Service Coalition of Excellence in Stonecrest. That will require every one of our businesses with a business license here in Stonecrest to go through a workshop to teach their employees how to have better customer service in their stores and restaurants. This will be led by Chick-fil-A, Publix, and QT gas stations. They're already on board to do this. 2, I have a plan. I have a plan.
Are you looking for your answer or part of the question?
No, I'm reading the question again. I'm sorry, I had a question right here.
No.
Number 2, for economic development. I already have plans to bring an Atlantic Station or an Avalon and Alpharetta here to Stonecrest. I've already had the developers in place willing to do this. They've been trying to do this for Janet McConnell since she's been in office. She won't even take a meeting with the developers. I'm going to do that on day 1. And 3, I believe in entrepreneurship. I believe in places like the Startup Factory that we have, built by Bill Allen here in Stonecrest. The Startup Factory, if you guys don't know, is a place for entrepreneurs to come, and it's supposed to be a place for them to build their businesses, bring their small business plans, and to help them to bring their business plans into fruition. I have a plan with the SDIAE to bring a score to our city.
Time, Mr. Smith. Thank you so much. Do you need me to restate this call?
Yes.
Okay. How would you rate your level of expertise in economic development? And what, in your opinion, are the key steps the city should take? And what specific actions would you take to address both the fundamental economic development challenges facing the city, such as job creation, diversification of industries, and business sectors?
I would rate my experience as not quite an expert, but moderate. Economic development is crucial. Economic development is the backbone of any successful city. Because I am a small business owner, I know the commitment and work it takes to offer good quality product and experience. Economic development is a relationship. I will use my existing relationships within the food industries to bring in more restaurants. But we've got to bring in more businesses. That is crucial. Because if it's a thriving business, the tax base brings in funding. And when we get a lot of funding, we can give the citizens what they want and what they need. So we just have to just work together and listen. Like I said, to me, number one thing is listening to the citizens. And we have to work together. Thank you.
So this issue hits very close to home for a lot of District 2 residents who live near DeKalb Medical, and also for a lot of District 3 residents who live near Barrington Road. For any of you who don't know, Walmart on that road just actually slashed their hours from ending around 11 p.m. to ending around now 9 p.m. When cited, they were saying that these issues were because of staffing and loss of property. So in essence, the number 2 issue that a lot of District 2 residents have been telling our team on the ground is that they're concerned about the rise in property crime in our city. Every home in District 2 has a Ring camera, a Bell Living camera, I can't remember the name of it, but a home camera, some sort of home defense system, because people are concerned about the rise of property crime, and because residents are concerned about that property crime. So are businesses who are looking to come here. If they see on Facebook that we're constantly talking about it, or on Nextdoor, or on the Ring app in general, they're not going to come and develop it. So my main focus is actually to really focus on, really make sure that in order to bring these high-end grocery stores, such as Sprouts, Trader Joe's, places like, maybe not places like, I had to check myself on that one, y'all, I'm sorry. I forgot the other one, and I had to say Trader, I'm sorry. But making sure that we're bringing in those high-end grocery stores, we have to get on top of this property crime and this crime in the city. So one of the things, so the 3 things I want to do to make sure that, 1, make sure we get started on the work towards building our own police force. Starting the work now so that once we're ready for it, we can be ready to implement it so people know we can live in a safe community. 2, introducing ordinances to stop street racing, illegal misuse of firearms in the air, and making sure that we're hitting on our noise ordinance and taking on that.
So, like many citizens in Stonecrest who are going to be voting in this upcoming election, I am not an expert in economic development, but I also don't think that I need to be, because I know how to identify resources, beginning with the assets that already exist now. Additionally, we have economic development engines at the city, county, state, and federal levels that, in my opinion, largely go underutilized, but have been created to support municipal economic development. If we seek partnerships, and you've heard us talking about it tonight, and we ask for help, we will get it. I've already spoken with leaders at county and state level who have confirmed this. Our draft economic development plan outlines several challenges and opportunities for Stonecrest economic development future. One of them is we want to make sure that people who live here are earning good incomes. That's 2 parts. 1 part job creation, 1 part thriving entrepreneurship. I would like to create incentives targeted at professional service firms to stimulate investments for existing firms and to encourage entrepreneurs to launch their professional service ventures here. I also want to see our economic development department develop KPIs, or key performance indicators, for our city's entrepreneurs so that we can gain greater insight into how to support them. Next, I would work with the community council and staff to incentivize quality industrial development where appropriate, because small warehouses, truck parking don't create enough high-paying jobs and rarely garner community support. We should partner with our healthcare, university, and technical college system to create workforce development programming and initiatives to attract federal dollars to the region for training. And I would also explore a redevelopment study for the mall at Stonecrest to determine if we can adopt plans similar to those of crosstown concourse in Memphis, Tennessee.
Stonecrest have what we call a comprehensive plan, and it's a 20-year plan, and I was fortunate to be able to help write that plan. So we don't have to figure out, what Stonecrest should be doing. I believe the problem that we're having is that we're not doing it, because we have a blueprint that's been approved by the Georgia Department of Economic Development. It talks about zoning, it talks about where you can put a cell tower. It addresses every single piece of land in the city of Stonecrest. Second, one of the things, and I want to make sure I get this part right, the first step in economic development, we tend to think that we go get people and bring them here, but it works just the reverse. What that means is we have to make the city desirable to the type of quality developers, you know what I'm saying, that you have to bring into the city. It's like dating. You dress up right, you go out, you want to look your very best. So what does that mean? It's already been mentioned by some of my colleagues up here. It's that we have to clean up the city. We have to have public safety in place. We don't have enough police officers. Now I'm going to scare you a little bit because it scares me. In all of Stonecrest, now we're the largest city in DeKalb County. Guess how many police officers we have patrolling? If I wasn't already in Stonecrest, I would not come to Stonecrest. We got to change that. We have 5 to 7 officers on any day for 60,000 residents. So if they're on a call and somebody's kicking your door in, you're not going to have anybody come and respond. So economic development begins with making the city desirable by making it safe, creating workforce opportunities, and also, I don't want to leave this out, we have to find a way to use the resources that are already here. My mother used to say, whatever it is God gave you, take what you have and make the best of it. I can talk more about that later. I have a real plan that I'd like for you to see. Thank you very much.
Repeat that question again and tell me how much time I have left, because I can talk a long time on economic development.
You're gonna only have 2 minutes this time. So the question, how would you rate your level of expertise in economic development? And there's A, B, C, and D, which everyone has been given, like low background, moderate. What, in your opinion, are the key steps to the city that the city should take? And what specific actions would you take to address both the fundamental economic development challenges facing the city, such as job creation and diversification of industries and business sectors?
Thank you for the question. I almost took my jacket off listening, ladies and gentlemen. I don't think I need the whole time. I'm going to try to use it. You've heard the candidates speak about economic development. Now, am I an expert in economic development? No. I'm not too far away from it. I did my research. I understand what it takes to build a city. I've listened, I've read, I've asked questions, as we all do. We hear certain different things that people are saying out there. I'll tell you, people understand what is economic development. I guarantee you, we go around the room and ask 3 people, you'll hear the different definitions of economic development. But ladies and gentlemen, let's keep it simple. That's the military. Keep it simple, everybody can understand. We're trying to grow a city that's conducive to what we want to be in the future. That's what we're trying to do. How do you do that? You have to put the right people in place. But when this city was put together, that should have been already considered already. But things happen. It's problematic. Here we are today. So what I'm simply saying is, we have to look at our current state right now. What does our current state look like? You guys see it. You see it. We have automotive industry coming through our city. That's one industry that left this city, passed through the city, and went into another county. What did that happen? Because we weren't ready. We weren't ready. Let's just call it what it is. We weren't ready. Let's be honest with ourselves. We weren't ready. But what I'm here to tell you is this. We can still get ready. If you stay ready, you get ready. Now, those automotive industry coming in here, understand something. They're going to need suppliers. Okay? They're going to need suppliers. So you have to build that ecosystem. Okay? Recycle the dollar. You've heard that before, right? Recycle the dollar. Recycle the dollar in your community. Now, I can go on and on and on, but she gave me the 30-second rule right there, so I'm going to do this to you. I want you guys, and I challenge you, we have an economic development director just got hired in the city of Stonecrest. I challenge you to find out what is that person's job. I challenge you to find out what's that person's job and what is he going to do for this city.
Thank you. I'll stay here for this one because it's pretty in-depth and I want to make sure I hit these points. I don't throw around the word expert very lightly, and so I think if you'd asked me before last week, I probably would have said well above moderate, but not an expert. And then I got a chance to sit in on the Economic Development Committee's meeting where our consultant walked through a preliminary version of our economic development strategic plan. And I kid you not, 75% or better of the findings and recommendations in that plan were items and issues that I have been talking about, have been quoted in the AJC about, are reflected in my platform, have had conversations with citizens about very recently. And I reminded myself, you have been working for major governments that lead major economic engines for the last 20 years. And so I do bring a level of expertise as an elected that would be useful for an elected official to lead our economic development efforts in the city. A couple of the major challenges that we are facing as a community to getting what we want and need, those types of amenities that this question is addressing, is housing affordability. 53% of the housing units in this community are renter occupied. That means a majority of the community, unlike prior to the housing crash, is renter occupied versus owner occupied. What does that mean? When others are controlling the cost of housing, that means a huge portion of our community does not have the disposable income to support the amenities that we want in this community. You ain't getting a Whole Foods if people have to spend all of their money on their house just to keep a roof over their heads. We also need to increase density here and daytime population in order to support those amenities. So lay out a clear vision and do some of those steps, and we'll get there.
So the next question we will answer first. Okay. Right. So according to data from the Georgia Department of Education, 70%, which is 9 out of 12 of the DeKalb County schools in Stonecrest, have performed in the bottom 25% of Metro Atlanta and the state of Georgia since 2015. Most of these schools are elementary. While some showed modest improvements in 2019, which is pre-COVID, national studies show that the post-COVID student and school performance suffered major setbacks. So the question, which you will have 2 minutes for, how crucial do you believe enhancing the performance of these schools is for students, parents, and the overall economic development appeal of our city, especially for young, upwardly mobile parents? Additionally, how do you plan to actively involve the diverse Stonecrest communities and collaborate with the DeKalb County School Board District to bring about substantial improvements to these schools?
Enhancing the performance of schools indeed is crucial to all involved. For the students, number one, the parents, and economic development appeal for the city and the surrounding area. Here's why. The students, when schools perform well, it directly benefits the students. Students receive better educational opportunities and access. We have to have access to even more experienced teachers. This creates better overall success and opportunities for students in the future. For the parents, in turn, parents are more likely to be satisfied with the educational experience their child is receiving. Parents usually prioritize education when they are deciding where to live. So when I have customers that's looking for a house, a lot of times because of the school system, they don't want to live in Stonecrest. So satisfied parents tend to be more engaged in their communities. They want to raise schools. So which leads to a higher quality of life for families overall. For the economic development, high-performing schools are attractive to businesses and residents alike. So they pay strong attention to the school systems. Cities with good schools tend to attract skilled workforce, which in turn can attract employees looking for workers. The cycle can drive economic development and increase property values. Through smart economic development, we have to develop office parks and help to support the existing businesses that are already here. We have to keep them here. We can't afford for businesses like Arizona Steakhouse to close or to leave.
Time, Mrs. Bowman.
So, as I outlined in my plan, when I talked about engaging with some of our young residents, I wanted to make sure that I take an active role in their schools industry. As I said before, I'm an alumni of Millsboro High School, and so I know what it's like to actually go and actually experience some of these schools our candidates are going to be talking about. And so that's why I honestly, and I have to cite Ms. Wells on this, who actually had to show me that we have a large and vibrant homeschooling community here in Stonecrest. So my mom homeschooled me for most of our time, from like 6th grade to 11th grade, and I can tell you that, again, that's one of the reasons why I support more of a parents-first approach to improving our education and the opportunities our students are getting, rather than a schools-first approach. I really want to see and want to be an advocate and continue to be an advocate for expanding voucher programs down at the Gold Dome, there's a really good bill down there that's called the Georgia the Georgia Promise Scholarship Act. That if you're a parent with children actually living in a school, living in an area where the school that you're in is underperforming at 25%, you actually qualify for $6,500. And that bill's coming back up in the legislature. So I want to continue to make sure that we're advocating and representing our District 2 residents who, after we modeled, found that 65% support those kind of voucher programs coming to Stonecrest. I want to make sure that, again, we're giving parents every opportunity to find the best education in Stonecrest. Even if it in making sure that, again, that they have those opportunities and are able to take their kids' educations into their own hands. So again, those are things I really want to make sure that I'm doing to help involving myself in the city, going by the schools, going to these health students voter registration drives with students, and also making sure that we're equipping our parents with the best resources they have to do the best job.
So, to the question, do I think it's important for the city to see enhancement, or do I think it's important for enhancement that in the school? Yes, yes, and you're going to hear that across the board. I don't know who's going to say no to that question. It's vitally important to see performance improvements at our local schools, and I agree that this will significantly increase our city's appeal to families and industries, as well as support home and land values here in Stonecrest. I also acknowledge that the party primarily responsible for school performance and improvement is the DeKalb County School District, which is an organization with almost 15,000 employees and a $2.6 billion budget. So like a lot of citizens in Stonecrest, I felt the allocation of $1.2 million of our ARPA funds to the district against the many community members' expressed wishes was premature. However, I would support working with city, county, and regional nonprofit organizations to earmark funds to support initiatives that directly impact students who live in, attend a school within city limits, such as improving safety measures, mental health support, civic education, financial literacy, parent engagement, and opening meaningful dialogue between school administration and residents. There are many opportunities for collaboration between the city, our local schools, and our DCSD leaders. As a past PTA member, past chair of the Flat Rock Elementary Principal Advisory Council, past chair of the Hunters Communities Education Committee, and current Beta Club chapter co-sponsor at DeKalb Christian Home Educators, and a mother of 4 school-aged children, I would be happy to lead in these efforts.
I'm going to sit down on this one. Many of you may know that 2 years ago I launched a program for elementary school students, and it was titled Plant a Seed to Read. And the reason I launched that is because did you know that if a child is not reading well, by the 3rd grade, you know where they end up, right? In prison, the pipeline in prison. So that's important. We're still working on that. The other thing that some of you may not know is that I have coordinated programs across the nation. For tutoring, I've worked with the late Dr. C.T. Vivian. How many of you know about Upward Bound program? I actually have worked with that program, and the program that we're working with now, if you go and Google Louisiana Tech ACT workshops, you'll be able to see a workshop that we're currently working with, one of the hundreds of workshops across the country. But I've also coordinated tutoring programs right here in Georgia at Word of Faith Church in Austell. I've coordinated programs at Arabia Mountain and Maynard Jackson High School. And one of the things we've done is we've helped them with those core fundamental skills, the skills that so often are lacking in the Black community. That is what I'm doing. Our students are going off to college saddled with student loan debt. And what we do, none of our students, every student we work with, none of them have student loan debt. Let me give one true example that's verifiable. We have the student who, she was a D and F student, okay? She was failing, her mother was in and out of rehab for drugs, her father been incarcerated her whole life. I'm here to tell you she's graduating with a full ride from Brown University. That's what I do, and it's verifiable, and students need to know that they don't have to be saddled with student loan debt. And we help them, even if they don't have the money for these programs, we have never, ever left a child out. And we don't tell the parents that, because some of them take advantage of it, right? But we help them. That program, we've helped students right in our backyard at Arabia Mountain High School. Thank you.
Absolutely. How crucial do you believe enhancing the performance of these schools is for the students, parents, and the overall economic development appeal of our city, especially for young, upwardly mobile parents? Additionally, how do you plan to actively involve the diverse Stonecrest communities and collaborate with the DeKalb County School Board and District to bring about substantial improvements in these schools?
I think I understand the question. I'm going to sit down and listen here. As I hear that, it's very important to, because the kids are our future. It's very important for us to engage and understand what's going on in our schools today. But here's the thing. This is what I understand with Mr. Rowley. We got to get out there as parents. If you're not a parent, right, you know somebody's child, or you know, people in your family, maybe friends, kids that are still in school. You go out there and talk to them, explain to them. You got to get out there and get yourself engaged. There's organizations out there. Now, I'm a member of the Lakers High Training Board. Since I've been here in this county, the things we have been involved with, STEM programs, mentoring children of various ages. We just got through taking a group of kids to Huntsville, Alabama to see NASA operation. Now, I don't know if any of those kids wanted to be an astronaut, but when they left there, they felt like an astronaut. The reason why? Because they see it, they can achieve it. I think we can recognize it. If they can see it, they can achieve it. So we try to give it back to them. Now, some of the kids see things that goes on out here in the city, and hey, maybe it's not enough activity for them to do in the evening. But we have to look at that. Okay? I know the Park and Recreation is starting a whole lot of activity in the future. I'm on the Park and Recreation Committee. I'm engaged with these committees. I'm trying to understand what the current city is doing right now. The employees in the city right now are really trying to contribute to the city. Even the administration, I see some things they put in place. But we ask the question, why did it take so long? There were some bumps in the road. We all have a lot of great ideas. But we don't pull together, ladies and gentlemen. We're not going to be going forward. We're going backwards.
Thank you, Mr. President.
So, as Ms. Wells said, none of us is going to say that having well-run schools and high-performing schools is not important to our community. Of course it is. That is one of the reasons why I stepped up to be vice president of the PTA for Brownsville for 2 years, and then moved over to serve on the principal advisory committee for 2 years. And then as soon as my daughter moved to Salem at the orientation, one of the first things that I did was go and pay my dues to the PTA. Even though they're not going to see me until after November 7th. So, of course, it is crucial to our community, but how do we make that change? We've heard a lot of individual, right, very commendable efforts, but when we step into these roles, we have to make systemic change. We cannot change a whole system of 15,000 students, many of which are in our city, through individual efforts. We need evidence-based, systemic solutions. I sum it up like this. We have to play our position and collaborate. DeKalb County School District is responsible for educating students, not Stonecrest. The city of Stonecrest does not go into classrooms to educate students. We are not running to be school board members. Right? So we've got to recognize their responsibility is to educate students. What is our responsibility? Our responsibility is to make sure that our community is one that is conducive to positive outcomes in education. We need to sit down and collaborate with our leadership and find out where those gaps are. What supports do families need? Every parent does not have the capability to help their student achieve. If many people in our community are struggling with their own literacy, why would we say it's that illiterate parent's responsibility to do it? We have to collaborate to help change those outcomes.
Many of you may not know the work that I do in schools. I get calls together from parents who have problems with children in school because of bullying or bad teachers. I'll tell you something about my children. I have 3 children, Emmanuel, Elijah, and Ezra. Emmanuel he's 11 years old. He's in the 8th grade. He takes 10th grade classes. He's a prodigy. Ezra is 6 years old. He's in the 3rd grade. He's a prodigy. They get this from parental involvement. My wife is an incredible teacher. She teaches in DeKalb County for many years. She now teaches at the Wilson Academy. Many of you don't know about the Wilson Academy. It's a private school. It does very, very well with teaching kids above their abilities. One thing that I've done, and I know that the other candidates may say we cannot do anything with the schools here because we do not DeKalb County. I've talked to every principal in Stonecrest. I've interviewed them. I've asked them, what is the problem with our schools? Each of them says it's because of parental involvement. We have no parental involvement here. I have a program called the Challenge Program that I will implement from day 1. I'll start implementing this. I've already talked to the CEO. I've already talked to the board of DeKalb. I have the approval to do this in Stonecrest. Stonecrest will be the model for how this program works. If this program is successful in Stonecrest, DeKalb County will put it in all of their schools. Gwinnett and Land will follow. This program holds the parents accountable. It holds the parents and the students of every student that does not perform well on their test scores or is underperforming in the school. They go into the Challenge Program. It's the after-school program for teachers. This program not only holds the student accountable, but it holds their parents accountable because the parents have to go through parenting classes. That's what I do when I'm here. Thank you.
We are getting to a close, and we're going to skip our final question, so the next question will be the final, and then everyone will have the opportunity for their 1-minute closing statements. We'll still have 2 minutes to answer the next question.
6.
One more time. I'm going to read the question now. All right. So, environmental concerns are on the rise. What step will you take to make our city more sustainable and environmentally friendly? And Mr. Cobb.
So I admit that I wasn't the best expert in terms of environmentally sound policies. So doing what I did, doing what I said that I wanted to do when it comes down to issues that I don't have the best expertise on, I went to the citizens. And so I met with Chase, the environmental group that is actually fighting against Metro Green, for advice on sound policy. And I can tell you right now that as a candidate right here, I'm committed, unless there's a difference or some sort of thing that the city's not telling us, I'm committed to voting no on Metro Green coming into our community. I'm committed to saying no, that we don't want that concrete crushing plant messing up our roads, affecting citizens' livelihoods, and overall destroying our environment. And so making sure that, again, we're taking care of our environment, making sure we're protecting our green space are very important in terms of this development. And I definitely am happy to create more citizen and council partnerships on finding more solutions on keeping these things. And I would never have gotten that if I hadn't gotten involved, talked to members of the community, and actually gotten the answers that needed to be.
So some of the steps that I would take to make our city more sustainable and environmentally friendly would be to collaborate with organizations like the Atlanta Regional Commission and Citizens for a Healthy and Safe Environment, which is CHASE, which is create and implement a climate pollution reduction plan for Stonecrest, and develop the kinds of projects that would garner county, state, and federal community support. I would partner with the DeKalb County Watershed and Waste Management to raise awareness and empower residents with things that they can do at home to make make themselves more environmentally sound. Later this month, I will be attending DeKalb's Green New Deal Summit to learn more about the county's environmental initiatives, and I would support a revised tree ordinance, more robust replanting standards, and the hiring of a city arborist, which is something that I have already shared with the city council when I was the president of the Stonecrest Citizens Coalition. Additionally, my efforts to make District 4 more walkable will reduce car reliance and emissions within district limits.
I think the first thing I would do would be to limit the undesirable projects. We've seen quite a bit of that. Historically across the nation, our Black communities are becoming a dumping ground, and Stonecrest is none other than included into that. The other thing is, did you know that they were going to put a gas station right on Evans Mill and Salem Road, right down the street from me? I served on the council at that time. I was the one who told the community, did you know they're trying to put that gas station there? And then, of course, the community did rally around and do the signs and do the other work that needed to be done. But the transparency piece was me telling them what was going on. Number two, we have people sitting here in the audience now who can tell you they were getting ready to put a storage facility in their neighborhood. They called me. I wasn't even their councilwoman. They called me. I went out there. I told them what to do. They came to the council meeting, they lined up right here, along the line. I say, you guys, there's power in numbers. They lined up, they went up to the council, and at the end of that meeting, they did not get that storage shed in their community. Number three, I was the one who went out and fought against that cell phone tower that they wanted to put near a school and a church. See, I got a track record. You already know how I'm going to respond to some of these circumstances. That's not going to stop if I become your next mayor. And so it's important for you to know that if we want a clean city, it starts with leadership who will make a difference and who will stand up. And I like using this word because sometimes we have to fight. There were trees that came down. I see the person back there called my house at 5:30 in the morning. Councilwoman, what's going on over there? I got up out of my bed and it was in the winter time. We had no idea. I fought against unnecessarily cutting down the trees. Yeah, some trees have to come down the field. I'm not a tree hugger, but I do believe in the environment. Okay? So in order for those things... Oh, thank you.
You have to enjoy her enthusiasm, right? No problem at all. Ladies and gentlemen, this is an interesting topic here. I don't want to go into history. What's time now? 2 minutes. Tim, I spent some time in the United also served as an engineer early on in my career. One of the lessons that we had to learn and master, coming straight out of college, understanding sustainability. But the term wasn't used back then, it was environmental. It's the same thing. Understand what's going on. Like I said, when the city coming to fruition, you're going to have these businesses that want to come into your city and do these type of things, right? But I think some folks will understand that they did their research, and they did homework, and say, hey, how do they affect other communities? And then they start lifting their voices. There's nothing wrong with that. That's what you're supposed to do, lift your voices. Now, if something doesn't sound right, maybe it's not right. You have to do your research. Now, EPA controls a lot of what we're talking about tonight. EPA controls a lot of what we're talking about tonight. They'll check this in place. Or explaining to you. If you don't know anything about what's going on in that particular area there, if somebody wants to come in and possibly create some type of environmental situation, you don't get rocket science. But you have to lift your voice. And once you lift your voice, people start listening. You can't get to the city folks and listen. The city council listen. Your mayor's listen. You got to get out there and lift your voice even louder. Line up like like Dr. Dolan said, line up and protest. They're here then. But sometimes you gotta get out there and go to the streets. I'm just gonna keep it real, but sometimes you gotta go out there and road against the road. Lift your voice and actions speak louder than words. So learn what's going on in your city. I have to learn about what's going on in Metro Green too. Here's some pros and cons. I think there's something we may need to talk. Thank you.
So the major drivers of our environmental health in this community is growth and development. That is what will affect our environmental health long term. And in order for us to ensure that we protect it, we have to have a new vision, or a vision at all, for growth and development in this community. I have outlined a couple of key ways to do that. One of them, I say, is prioritizing community benefit. Community benefit includes having a clean environment, which is why I do not support Metro Green that is threatening the health of the nearby neighbors and neighborhoods to that plant. But prioritizing community benefit and celebrating and centering the many natural amenities in this community. Do we want to be another nondescript suburb with a bunch of strip malls and warehouses in it? We have Arabian Mountain, we have beautiful trees, we have wetlands that many of us do not even know about. When we take an old approach to growth and development, those trees and wetlands are treated as barriers to development. They get in the way of development. What if we created a vision that centered those amenities? That is what distinguishes us from the rest of DeKalb County, from the rest of the nearby communities, because we center them. Similar to Serenbe at Chattahoochee Hills, which I had the opportunity to go and tour. Your elected officials would have had the opportunity to go and tour if they had not all canceled on Mayor Reed the morning of that tour, to see how they centered their natural amenities and made a vibrant, very in-demand community. We can do that here.
Environmental concern was not my fault. I'm not going to get up here act like I know everything about the environment, because I don't. You want to tackle crime? I'm your guy. You want to tackle schools? I'm your guy. You want to tackle customer service? I'm your guy. Economic development? I'm your guy. I do know a guy named Jerome Edmondson. You guys know about Jerome Edmondson. He goes around the country and he sells everybody on these smart cities. I surround myself around people who are better than doing things that I'm not good at. I surround myself around Jerome. He's part of my community. He's going to make our city a smart city. Economic development is some of the things that he's bringing along with some of the other people on my team. But to be a smart city is an environmentally safe city. That's something that we will bring when we come. I'm not just coming bringing Bernard Smith. I'm bringing a whole bunch of people with me to help me get this done in the city. So if you guys want environmental safety, if you want these guys as the better person for it, but I promise you one thing: we will tackle crime, we will tackle education, we will tackle economic development. We will make the city a better place.
There are a number of things that can be done to make our city more sustainable and friendly to the environment. I would be interested to hear what the residents, would like to see. A lot of people do not understand how important this subject is. Holding awareness events to educate residents on the importance of these kind of programs will be necessary. I am a champion of recycling programs. It is amazing how much the city could save if we had a citywide recycling program. I also believe offering incentives to businesses to adopt these friendly ways will also be a plus.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Howard. All of the candidates for answering the questions, because all of the questions, but don't worry, Terry. You're going to get that mic again and the chance to drop and all the things you've been doing tonight. So, what we're going to do now is give you guys the opportunity for your 1-minute closing statement, and we will begin with Mrs. Malaika.
So, I'm grieving because one of my favorite questions is not being asked, but y'all couldn't probably answer.
It's just giving you incentive to reach out, right?
Absolutely. So, I say it like this. I'm trying to see something. This is my closing statement. I'm trying to see something, okay? And I have been trying to see something for the last 6 years. For myself, for my children, for my neighbors, for my district. I have been listening. I'm very observant, and I'm not quick to discount anybody's voice. I spent 6 years watching, listening, remaining hopeful, attending city council meetings, participating and sitting on the Community Improvement District Advisory Council. And I'm not the only one who's been doing that, but now I'm one who's running for council. And I'm running because I'm sure that together we can actually make good on the promise of what this city was meant to deliver on. I'm running because I really do believe there's more in store for District 4, and that it can be the cleanest, safest, and most welcoming district in Stonecrest.
So hang down to Dr. Ndoma, and we can close out with Terry. 5.
Recently, the Labor Department found over $100 million when they did a forensic audit. $100 million. I'm going to be your mayor who will trust and make sure that your money is spent wisely. Your money. Did you know when we got the ARPA money, did you know that everybody sitting in here could have gotten a grant up to $30,000? And if you're a senior citizen, you could have gotten more. Did you know that? See, these are things that you need to know. I don't know about you, but my household could have used $30,000. So we're going to keep it real. If you elect me as your next mayor, I'm going to protect your money. I'm going to work with anybody on the council. I'm going to work with anybody in the community. I'm already at the table with the other organizations. I'm already working with the congressman office. And I'm going to tell you this. We are the only city who didn't go to Hank Johnson's office and get the money. It was our job to go to get the money. We didn't go. If you elect someone who is not at the table, you're going to be missing out on your money. I'm going to watch your money. Thank you.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we came to the end of another forum. I hope that we answered your questions. You got to know us. And if you didn't ask any questions, I'm pretty sure some of us will be hanging around, collaborating. But here's the deal. I'm not a man of a lot of words. It's real simple. I'm here to lead, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here to lead. I'm here to learn. I'm here to listen. There are problems in the city. We understand that. It's not the worst city in Georgia, ladies and gentlemen. Let's understand something. Think about what the city could look like in the future. Okay? Think about what the city could look like in the future. I'm asking you to be a part of it. What you want to do is put the right leaders in place. You want to put leaders in place that's going to go out and do the right thing. Going to listen to you and do what you ask them to do. Now, if they can't do it, they'll tell you, we can't do it right now. That's something we have to plan in the future. We're going to be honest with you, not just tell you some type of story. Ladies and gentlemen, what type of leader I am. That's what type of leader I am. You'll get what you're seeing right now. Baseline. You'll get the truth.
I'll be honest, I too am grieving that last question, which was about transparency and accountability and how we bring that as leaders to this community. And what I wish to bring, as I stated in my opening comments, is decency, order, and propriety to our city, to restore the respect that we are due as a city, the credibility that we need in order to thrive and prosper as a city. What I will not do is allow the doors of City Hall to be locked during public meetings in violation of the Open Meetings Act. I will not call the police on citizens to try to have them illegally removed from city council meetings. I will not try to sneak past public hearings to raise your taxes and then refuse to tell you how I'm spending that additional tax money. What I will do is ensure that we enshrine in our charter the type of measures that we need in order to thrive, that we will manage our funds, and that we will lead with vision. Thank you.
So who is Bernard Smith Jr.? Bernard Smith Jr. is a Morehouse grad, a man of God, a home prophet, a man of integrity, a man who do what he's going to say he's going to do, a man of influence, a man who knows people, and a man with connections. I plan on bringing all that to Stonecrest when I'm your mayor. I plan on doing some things with this city. God's given me a great vision for Stonecrest. That vision is what I'm trying to sell you guys. There's a lot of things I wasn't able to say tonight. A lot of topics I wasn't able to hit. But I encourage each and every one of you to visit smith4mayor.com. Check out my website. See some of my policies. I'm a different kind of thinker. I'll be a different type of mayor. I'll be the leader that you guys need to bring this city into fruition, what God intended it to be. City power, city influence, a city to be reckoned with and to be followed and emulated by other cities. Thank you guys.
I decided to run for city council because this young city is at a critical tipping point. So we go either way, because a lot is at stake here. The only way we can make it right is to work together. I live in Stonecrest. I've lived in Stonecrest for the majority of my life. I'm a small business owner. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a community leader, and I have been involved. I'm a successful entrepreneur. But the main thing, I want to be involved in the council and be your city council, because I know the citizens almost have been left out of everything that we're doing here. So I want to make sure that all the citizens, residents are involved and have a say-so. So we don't need to go into a council meeting and you only have 2 minutes. Okay, thank you.
So, I said at the beginning of this speech that I said at the beginning of this forum that I was not Stonecrest born, that I was Stonecrest raised. My father, who's sitting there in the orange, he bought my first suit from Evolve over at Stonecrest Mall. My mom, who's sitting right there, she bought my first car in a private sale on Hillendale Road. We put the key in that thing, it was a Nissan Altima, it did not turn. You got me a car for my 21st birthday for $200, and it didn't turn. I say that all to say that I've been in this community and I've seen all of my firsts. I have nothing but my first in this community, and I, like many members here, have no choice but to fight to see it succeed. I thank every single candidate who stepped up today and came out here instead of the empty seats that are sitting behind us. I want to say that we are out here and I am here to restore faith in Stonecrest as a resident, and I'm asking for your vote on November 7th. Thank you all so much. I hope you have a blessed night.
Each and every candidate again for taking the time and honoring us with their presence and letting us know why we should take the time to vote for you. If we can hand it back to Ms. Cynthia Lofton to close us out. Thank you so much for coming, everyone. We appreciate your time and dedication. I'll let you thank everybody.
lot of courage to sit up here and to pay your money and to run for office. In 1982, when I finished college, I took a job with the Georgia Municipal Association. At that time, we had 3 mayors in the state. One was 3 black mayors. One was under indictment. And we probably had 30 council members in the whole state of Georgia. And other populations have families of politicians. They all run for office. And in the black community, we don't have that. So these people are stepping out on faith. And I really think that we all should visit their website and give them a fair opportunity, because it takes a lot of courage to do this. And I appreciate everybody for coming out this evening.